Corey Curtis has told us the way that this Vanderbilt team will play,
I was
has
right.
played,
I was right.
and he said the entire time,
Told you so.
if they can play in the trenches consistently, this team will be able to vie for a playoff spot. Corey, thank you so much for joining us. Let's start with overall with the rivalry game. I think a lot of people, Patrick said this at the beginning, like about 3 weeks ago, hey, it would love for this game to be a college football, basically elimination game. For Vandy, it was. They go out, they get the win in Neyland over Tennessee. What'd you make there of that matchup and the way that they were able to do it, pounding a Vols team?
Well, you watch this game, and Vanderbilt's clearly the better team. It's in Knoxville. The only thing that keeps Tennessee in the game in the first half is 2 turnovers. And then in the second half, they take care of business and take care of the football. And would they outscore them 24-3 in the second half?
Right.
I mean, and that's what we've talked about with Vanderbilt. When they play their brand of football, they wear you out in the second half. And, they wore out Tennessee in the second half. They were the better team. They ran the football, all over the Volunteers. Diego Pavia didn't have the prolific passing numbers that he'd had the last 3 or 4 weeks, but he rushed for 150 yards.
Right.
He still put up 400 yards of offense, but you saw how good those running backs can be and the speed that they've got. And they're just a well-rounded team, and they were a better team than Tennessee. Pavia, did have the turnovers, but he certainly didn't let it slow him down.
Yep.
He just kept coming, kept firing. It was a really nice exclamation point for what has been an historic season. It's their first ever 10-win regular season.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
You can't. It was the biggest game in Vanderbilt history.
Absolutely was.
And they won resoundingly. So it's huge for them.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Absolutely. They did so on the road as well. Since losing to Texas, they've only scored 45 points in all 3 games. Diego Pavia has been the leading passer and the leading rusher for Vanderbilt in all 3 games, and they got big
over
wins.
400 yards in every game.
Yes, over 400 yards in every game, which now begs the conclusion about his Heisman chances. I think if you're just looking at the Vegas odds, does it look like he'll win? I think it's a travesty if he's not in New York. What do you make of him being able to win college football's ultimate prize?
He's the best player in college football. He is the most important player in college football. About a month ago, I heard he didn't have the stats to win the Heisman. Take a look at the stats now.
Yeah.
He is 1,000 yards clear of all of his other competition. 1,000 yards. All right. He's got almost 1,000 yards rushing. He's amassed, 36 touchdowns for the season? Okay.
Yeah.
27 passes, passing, 9 rushing. And he's led Vanderbilt to scoring over 40 points 7 times this season. This is Vanderbilt we're talking about.
Right.
All right. Scoring over 40 points 7 times. All right. I mean, and everybody knows what's coming.
Yes.
Every play, and I know I've said this on this show before, every play, run or pass, runs through him. Okay, and they still can't stop him. There's no setting the edge against him. He just runs around it every time, and he's just a tough little nugget. I mean, there is no stopping him this year. I mean, no one's been able to do it. I mean, what, Alabama held him to 16,
right?
And he had the 2
interceptions. Missouri
interceptions.
maybe was the other game.
And
that was a big fight. Yeah.
Right. And even in the Bama game, they turned the ball over a couple times there in the red zone. So I mean,
in the north, yes.
Right. You change those outcomes into points, and who knows?
I mean,
and also in those games, Vanderbilt got kind of away from its identity.
Correct.
That was also a problem in those games. Yeah.
Sorry,
Pat.
No, it's okay. I will say this morning we talked about how it seems like it might be a little bit of a distant chance for Pavia to win the Heisman. I saw On3 put out their Heisman poll this morning, and Pavia was number 1.
Oh, wow.
So,
interesting.
I mean, you could definitely – I'm on the Pavia hype train. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak. You got me into it.
If you've watched,
yes,
how can you not?
He is the best player. He literally
is. It's undeniable.
Yep.
I mean, look, I think I probably told you guys this story. I heard all about him because I knew some people who know people on the Vandy coaching staff who were with him in New Mexico, and they're like, yeah, he's going to come in and he's going to tell everybody he's going to be the best, but he's going to be their guy. And I was like, okay. And so I go to practice for the first time last year, and I'm like, which one is he? Because I mean, he's like 5'9".
Right.
And like number 2. And I'm like, I thought he was a walk-on. All right. And you know, I mean, because that's what he looked like.
Yep.
And you watch practice, and you know, practice is always like, you know, 3/4 speed and everything. And I'm like, okay, we'll see. I mean, it's Vanderbilt. You know, this was still Vanderbilt last year before they turned the corner.
Yeah.
And you know, I always, you guys know Ray Tanner, former Gamecock baseball head coach.
Yes,
he and I were I used to work in Columbia, and we were good friends. And we were having lunch one time, and he had a right fielder named Adam Poe, who was hitting about 390, and driving him nuts because he's late for practice. You know, he didn't go to class. You know, all the things that Ray stands for.
Yeah.
And we were having lunch one day at 5 Points, and Ray's like, Cory, what do I do? I said, you look at the 390 next to his name, and you pencil him in the 3 hole, and you move on. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's Diego Pavia.
Yeah.
You know, like Tennessee fans, I see them all on Twitter just railing Diego Pavia. They would love to have Diego Pavia.
No question.
All right.
No question.
I think it's jealousy.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
yes,
jealousy.
it's jealousy.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Look, is there a quarterback in America who would beat out Diego Pavia for the starting spot at Vanderbilt?
No.
Somebody who walks in the door and Clark Lee says, you know what? You're right. We're going to put Pavia on the bench and start this guy because he is 6'5", 240.
Not this year.
No, not this year.
Not this year.
Not
I
this
mean,
year.
I've been saying the argument to Gerhard. Julian's saying he's not even the best player on his own offense. And then you said
That's our argument for that.
You said in the break to us, you know, Fernando Mendoza is a product of the system because of Curt Cignetti. So I just don't understand why the stock is still so low on Diego Pavia.
It's Vanderbilt. It's the same reason they can't get in the playoffs.
But this is
he's got the.
This is 2025 though.
We should be smarter.
I know.
Yeah, we should.
But like, I mean, you look at Travis Hunter. He goes both ways, but he plays for Dion. If
Exactly.
Travis Hunter plays at Utah, he doesn't win the Heisman last year.
Yep.
All right, it matters.
It does. And I wish that we were not so much about the narratives. We could just watch the games because they're readily available for all of us to watch. And when you watch the games, he has been number one. We talked earlier about the chances to win or the chances to earn a spot in the college football playoff. We'll get your thoughts in just a moment. Let's hear from Coach Clark Lee on being able to find one of the spots for the Vanderbilt Commodores.
But, I mean, this is a 10-win SEC team that has played in a lot of tough environments on the road. We've got a Heisman, in my mind is a Heisman front runner playing quarterback. But this is a story way more than one person. It's way bigger than one person. It's about a team that plays together, plays with great heart. It's a great story in college football. I mean, this is a story that's gained a lot of attention. And I think, again, to do anything other than allow these guys to compete for it all would be just an injustice to the work they've done. So that's out of my hands. I mean, all I can do is fight for what I believe in. And we play in the hardest league in the country, and we've come out of it with 10 wins, capping it off with a tough road win against a really good Tennessee team. And I have a ton of respect for Josh and the program he's built. In so many ways, his program build has forced us to hit the accelerator in pursuit of Tennessee. But tonight was our night. And again, I hope that the people that need to be paying attention to that are paying attention.
Cory, I mean, we talk about stories in not just college football, but also in college basketball with March Madness. And, you know, that's what makes the tournament is the Cinderella stories. And I think it would be a disservice to our sport in college football to leave out Vanderbilt and the story that they've built for a Miami team that is just what's the story there, and then a BYU team that in their one game against an opponent that is in the college football playoff just did not look good at all. Yeah, it just did not look good at all.
Well, and you know that's another game to watch because isn't it BYU and Texas Tech in the Big 12? If I would contend if they lose that game by 3 touchdowns again, then they have been given 2 opportunities against playoff teams and shown that they're not worth it. BYU's strength of schedule is 35. I don't know what their notable victories are. I didn't get a chance to write that down. Utah, their strength of schedule is 57. But Utah will get knocked out. Well, they're 13th, so they won't get in. But the big problem here is the ACC, in the fact that Miami is not in the ACC championship, and that you've got two teams worse than Miami playing in the ACC championship.
Yep.
Look, we could all handle Miami being in the playoff if they were in ahead of Duke and Virginia. But the other issue is if Duke wins that football game, we may have two group of 5 teams.
We should.
Yeah.
A 5-loss Duke team has no business making.
Well,
the
no, they
playoff.
won't be in. They won't be in. They won't be
Yes.
ranked high enough.
No.
And so you could have like JMU and Tulane,
Right.
both making the college football play, but that steals a spot from Vanderbilt. If you're still going to put Miami in, because then the ACC wouldn't have any teams in. All right, and I don't think they want to do that to the ACC. Miami came in with all sorts of swag this season, and everybody was expecting them to be it, and so they came in ahead of the 8 ball.
Yep.
And Vanderbilt still came in from behind the 8 ball. But so you've got to hope that BYU loses that game convincingly.
Yeah.
Convincingly.
Yeah. Right.
And I, and then, I think you've also got to hope that Virginia wins.
Yes.
So that Virginia makes the playoff,
Solidifies it.
and the committee knows that, hey, we're not going to snub the ACC if we take Miami out and put Vanderbilt in. And I don't know how you get them to switch at this point, but I would the AP poll. I don't know if I said this or not, or if we did. Somehow Miami leapfrogged Vanderbilt.
Right.
When Vanderbilt won by 21 in Knoxville.
On the road in Knoxville. That's the part I can't get over. And I would hope the committee rankings and the committee pollsters were able to watch the football game and see.
Yes.
Because if it is a precursor to what we see with the committee, I think it's an absolute shame for this Vanderbilt team to get locked out like that. Because Patrick said, if you just line them up, two losses, that Vandy should be in.
Makes no sense.
I just look at it and say, who's favored? Because we have a lot of arguments here about Notre Dame, and but I contend this: if Vanderbilt played Notre Dame, who would be favored? I would say Notre Dame would be favored by 3 or 4 points.
Right.
I think Notre Dame is. I understand some of the arguments about Notre Dame's schedule and Notre Dame is a complete football team. And I would not be surprised to see Notre Dame make noise in the playoff once again. They've got an excellent head coach. They've got a quarterback. They can run the heck out of the football.
Right.
And so, because, Notre Dame would be another one where you could argue, because their strength of schedule is 42.
Yeah.
But they don't have a championship game to play in now, so they don't have to worry about that. So your hopes are on BYU losing and Virginia winning.
Cory,
does that seem to make the most sense?
Yeah.
and
those spots.
I think Alabama losing by a good margin to Georgia might. You might need that too.
Maybe, but they still have the head-to-head. So I mean, it would still go.
Alabama
against Georgia?
That's right with Texas. So Alabama's in the
SEC championship game against Georgia. Yeah.
But then it's the same.
I forgot all about that.
Same argument about. So I guess that leads me to my question: is do you think with all of the chaos going on this year, that college football might finally do the right decision and go from a selection-based model to an access-based model for the playoff?
What do you mean an access-based model?
Like, here is what you need to do. So let's just say, there are 3 spots, and I know this isn't really the right thing. There's 3 spots for the SEC. It's the 2 conference champions, and then you have the 3 and the 4 finish, like the 3rd and the 4th place finish, play each other for that 3rd spot to make it.
So you have a playoff between 3 and 4
rather than
for a
have
spot in the playoffs.
Have a committee politicking about this team should get in over this team. You just play the game and then you're in like that.
But it's funny because, I'm not disparaging diving, gymnastics. They're all amazing athletes.
Yeah.
So don't hear me wrong on that. They are sports and they're amazing athletes. I hate sports that are decided by opinion.
Yeah, me too.
I like sports that are decided on the field.
Yes.
When you impose your will against someone else, and that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Creating a structure where you impose your will and earn your spot in, and it's not up for debate.
Yeah.
Now, what is up for debate is how many teams does the SEC get? How many teams does the Big Ten get? How many teams does? So that is where, the trouble lies. And the trouble lies also, how many Division 1A football teams are there?
130, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So the NFL's got 32. So
right.
When you put 14 in, it's a little easier to draw those lines out. But unfortunately, Pat, I don't think we're going to get there.
Yeah.
Because you've still got Notre Dame as an independent,
Right.
and you've still got the group of 5 is going to want theirs, and understandably so. I mean, believe me, I went to a school that went 27-5 in basketball and got left out on Selection Sunday, and you know what? That was 36 years ago, and I'm still bitter.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm still bitter. So I will commiserate some with the group of 5. I agree with you, Pat, that would be to take the debate out of it would be nice.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see a really good solution, and life's never fair, so it's not going to be completely fair.
I think the best way is to expand the playoff, and then you set these boundaries for each of the conferences to get X amount of teams in, get your group of 5 in, get your independent in.
Well, I mean, I still think that eventually we're just going to get to the point where the Big Ten's 24 teams and the SEC is 24 teams. And
Yeah.
They're going to square off for a championship.
Right.
I mean, don't you think they'll cannibalize the ACC and the Big 12?
Yeah.
We'll call it a day.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if you have like 2 ACC teams and the second team is just downright awful.
This year is not great for the ACC.
No.
I mean, and it's only going to get worse.
Yeah. This year, the ACC should be thanking the committee that they have these parameters to at least get 1 team in, because outside of that, there's a situation where no team should be in.
There's a reason James Franklin sprinted to Virginia Tech.
100%. 100%.
It's a much easier path to the college football playoff.
Yep.
Much easier path.
Exactly.
And so he knows it.
Yep.
I mean, Clemson's falling apart. Florida State can't keep the car on the road. I mean, and Miami is always good for a brutal loss.
Right. And we'll see if Miami is ahead or behind of Vanderbilt in the college football playoff committee rankings coming up tomorrow night. Cory, thank you so much for your time here and all your insights on Diego Pavia and this Vanderbilt football team enjoying an amazing season.
All right. Well, anytime you guys want to bring me on and tell everyone how smart I am and that I've been right since day one, I'm happy to hear it.
Absolutely. We are keeping receipts. And my man, Cory, you have been on it the entire season. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Every squirrel finds a nut, guys.
Exactly.